Hi, lovelies. This is Leeliu, the amazing priestess, healer, dancer, goddess, fairy, powerful witch from Singapore. We know each other since long time, right? And somehow, like, we came together in this beautiful expression of the animals. And I've been to her beautiful guidance of animals in ecstatic dance, and I hear like a lot about you singing and being there everywhere with your voice, with your bodily expression, with channeling through. So, Lilo, tell me more about like how do you see the release of the emotions and why voice is such an important part of it?
You know, just now when we were having a conversation, we were talking about how it's so important. This is the place of awakening, the body, embodiment. So through embodiment, there are all these different practices that we can do, and this relates to the voice, opening up the voice, or moving the body, or feeling the body. You know, we were also talking about emotional mastery, which is this book that you're writing, and how you know energy is in motion. This is what makes up emotions, and it's important for us to release the story. We store our stories in the body. So how do we release it? We release it by making a sound, speaking our truth, feeling the body, feeling our feelings, and just allowing what wants to come through. And sometimes it will look and feel different because you know, in the way that we have been prescribed a way of being in society is go by the rules, say these words, don't feel these feelings. And you know, when we come into a different way of being, of remembering ourselves beyond this human body, we are also an animal body. We're this earth body, this forest body. There is wildness. There is something that is yet to be expressed, or felt, or seen, or heard. And so, through our voices, through our movement, it can become a prayer to come home to ourselves. You know, we know, we tap into the wisdom. Everything that we want to know is here, in here. You know.
Yeah, it's totally something that has resonated with me so much. It's like when you said like this animal body, because like then I thought back that actually animals, you know, when I teach my inner animal dances, like, you know, I also ask people to express their emotions in the sounds because it's the most natural for the animal. So the sound comes first together with like with the moves, with this expression. And what I feel like that we exactly through the social conditioning, we totally suppress those emotions and those sounds and being loud and being expressive. And this kind of like being like animal in the moment of like let the energy out of yourself, out of your system. This is why I wanted to ask you, like, if you do the deep work with your clients or in your workshops, in your retreats, how do you approach actually this kind of the stages of emotional releases, and how is the voice playing which role, and which recommendations do you have in that process? Like, very open question for you to share with us.
Thank you for your clarity. So, you know, in the way that I offer my work, it is coming back to the elemental Shakti force, you know, like connecting to this earth body that is made up of the spirit breath, that is made up of emotional body, the waters, and that is made up of, you know, the dreams and the inspiration of the air. You know, like there's so many aspects that we can bring in a remembering of, you know, our inner truth and our wisdom. And so the voice, for me, what I use in my practice and the way that I share and offer is singing. Because singing is a beautiful way of coming back, of tuning our inner vibration, you know, tuning everything back into the center. And there's something about words, you know, because words are spells, you know. Words are spells that we write. So what spells are you going to speak? How are you going to speak to your inner waters? I love you. I treasure you. Thank you. I am a woman giving birth to myself. You know, just coming back into these prayerful ways of returning home to ourselves. So whether it's moving the body to release, or moving the body as a way of praying, like I am offering my prayers up, like hear me. I am offering my song into myself, into the earth, into all women. And so, you know, everything becomes an embodiment and a prayer and an expression of Shakti.
It's beautiful. So this totally devotional practice of like melting the body and all the senses into actually this full expression of your own intention to release, to break through, to be there. And of course, like body, mind and soul, right? Like in the body is like voice. Very often like we forget that to bring this vocal expression.
Yeah.
So which practices would you actually recommend to people who feel that their emotions are suppressed? They feel that their voice is not heard. What are like the basic, simple practices that you can do actually, like at home, like being a 9-to-5 job, right? And not like living on this tropical, amazing island of Kopangan, but like being there, stuck in the family's obligations. How can you recommend like a woman, first for a woman and then for a man, to tune in into their own vocal, emotional freedom expression, right?
I feel like the practice is accessible to both men and women because all men have an inner Shakti in them. You know, nourishing the feminine is not just for women; it's also for men. How do I awaken into my receptivity, my allowing, my openness? You know, this is also what men are seeking to remember. And so I offer this to men and women. It's just coming into a place of grounding in silence. Like silence is so important because we're just waking up to downloading, you know, of releasing, surrendering whatever was in the day before, and we're arriving fresh. So how do we arrive fresh and walk in balance with the world? You know, so come into a state of balance. Because when I used to live in Singapore, or when I was visiting back in Singapore, after traveling around and just being able to honor my inner rhythms, I would move back to Singapore and go into this state of, wow, like it's so intense, everything is moving so fast. So how do I walk in balance with the outer rhythms? By first balancing within. So in the way that I balance my rhythm, I just allow movement, free movement in the morning, and free sounds, any sounds that want to come. You know, that you may have taken your clients in the animal dance, you know, just allow your sound to be heard. And no matter what your sound is, it is important, it is sacred, it is needed to be heard, it is needed to be felt and expressed. So it can sound as pleasant and as unpleasant as you want it to be, as you feel for it to be. It can be like a and just allow yourself to be free, unbridled. You know, if we bless ourselves with the remembering of that every morning, like I am free, I can be and feel and express myself as I want to. You know, this is the way we step out into the world. I mean, what a beautiful way to be.
Absolutely. There was something super important that you mentioned about when I came back to the city, when I come back to this like very strong active energies, when I'm so open, well, all my chakras are like having multiple orgasms like with the nature and uniting, right? Then how is for you like the best way to actually to come back to your family, to come back to your work, to come back to those kind of structural and maybe sometimes like not that open environments, right, as a city, as your own all the obligations? Which tips would you give like to people how to integrate actually those spiritual experiences, energetic experiences back into the systems and operate from the space where no one gonna give you like not gonna put you into any box, you know?
I think what I'm hearing and receiving is how do we bring people into a state of restoring themselves time and time again? You know, because throughout the day you have all these things to do. You are in public transportation, you are in meetings, you are being told to meet timelines and deadlines. So moment to moment there are all these ways of coming back into the body, into an embodied way of experience. Okay, coming back to the breath. Let's just take a few deep cleansing breaths together. Just find your heart again. And what happens in society is because the rhythms, they force us to go into our minds. And as they bring us into our minds, it becomes overactive. And when it's overactive, the body reacts. The nervous system is challenged. So how do we settle and balance ourselves into our nervous system to say, all is okay, all is well, I am here. I'm here in the now and I'm breathing. This breath is bringing me back into my being. I release whatever that no longer serves me. I step into this new breath, new, possible. I allow. So what I feel is very helpful for me is I move into these little moments of the day, micro moments of coming back, centering. A breath is so simple. Or a song. I am a woman giving birth to myself. Or, something to cheer myself up, because, when things get to feel a little heavy, how do I free myself of the heaviness? I call in the inspiration of the winds by singing a song, by offering a prayer. The winds are our prayers. They send us prayers, movement, change. And so it can be something like, happy birthday to you, Irina. Happy birthday to me.
Leeliu.
Every day we are born. Every day we are free. Yeah, like this. New again. I think it's so important in our everyday lives to bring some lightness, ease, joy, softness, like all of it. Ease, like a bird, like a butterfly, fly, be free. You are free. You are always free. We're always free.
Wow, I guess that was your message from the heart.
We're always free. Always free.
Wow, that was beautiful Leeliu from Singapore. Beautiful, powerful Shakti. Beautiful, powerful animal. And we wanted to pull some cards. Let's pull some cards. Oh, so excited.
Pull some cards.
So exciting. So the cards, for what should I do that? Goddess
Oracle.
So give me some recommendations for what I should take it.
Well, ask about what you're seeking, whether it's a message for the day or what is the goddess that is going to bring you some wisdom for your work.
Yes,
whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So may those cards bring me the goddess that's going to supporting my work on emotional mastery, and especially for the chapter energetic separation for many, many, many women, because this work is so damn needed. Oh, so needed. So which qualities of which goddess is going to support me in my work in full expression? Vila, shape-shifting.
Wow,
have a look. Oh gosh, I get goosebumps. Do you see
beautiful.
that?
Shape-shifting.
Shape-shifting.
Beautiful.
So exciting. What is that? What is written shape-shifting?
Villa, look for V.
Goddesses. It's on the back, I guess. So, and Leeliu, why is it important to use those cards actually?
For me, the cards are a conversation with the divine, like my trust in prayer. That's what I was, saying, to create an intention around what am I drawing for? Like, please send me a message. This is one of a beautiful thing to do in the first thing in the morning as well, when you're just calling in to deepen your relationship with spirit or divine energies. Like, please bring me a message and let the message guide you. And it's also about unfolding into trusting that there are other forces that are supporting us in the path.
So, like, I'm reading here. I dance from a form to form. I shift from shape to shape, ever changing, expanding, becoming. I'm flexible for changing my form, freely flow from what comes in my way. I'm conscious by shifting my shape. I gain, expand in awareness to be a waltz, side tango, like everyone knows how much we girls like to dance, right? Salsa, my dance affinity to all becoming dissolve, knowing all great oneness, illusion has very. So basically, I read that, like all this poem, and I'm like, no clue. What should I do actually with that reading? Like, how could I bring it back into like my everyday? Like, what is like for you, like the. I don't get it.
So sometimes, what I do in circle work when I bring these oracle cards, like recently something's unfolded, it's like just to leave this book behind.
Yeah.
And to entrain our own inner guidance. What is my inner wisdom telling me about what this card means for me in this moment? Because a picture says 1,000 words. And there are so many different messages that you can pick up, whether it's, you know, the wolf that is on the right side, this goddess that has wings, and whether is this horse running into the meadow, you know, there are all these different messages that are already there. I mean, of course, the book is very helpful. It's very helpful, and you know, whatever meaning that we take on in the message is also very personal.
Yeah.
Because what you might be going through is very different from what I might be going
Exactly.
through.
So interpretations of our mind would be different.
Yeah,
right?
and
So
to
emotional
really,
mastery, yeah.
and really, yes, I think when you speak about emotional mastery, it's also about trusting your emotions. You know, because this message, what I receive from this card is will be different from you.
Yeah.
And I gotta trust what my inner wisdom is telling me.
Yeah.
And also honor you in your inner wisdom. You know,
That's true.
so we have different.
So like basically like here I'm seeing actually one wolf, like she has like one arm for the wolf and one arm for the horse. So she's kind of shape shifting from this animal into this animal. She's someone like actually flying like a bird in between. This is like what I'm seeing there. That means that actually I can dance with the wolf and I can ride the horse and fly around everywhere. Right?
Beautiful.
Wow. So that was kind of like my interpretation of this kind of.
And it is all perfect. I think it's beginning to really deepen into trusting ourselves. Like, yeah, this is my message.
Yeah,
I believe it.
This is possible.
Yeah,
this is possible.
all is possible.
Wow. Leeliu, thank you so much for your wisdoms, for your ancestors, for your. I love you. I love you so much.
We love you.
Love you. And how did you say like, I'm free, you free? How was the song?
Happy birthday to you.
us. Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
Every day we are born.
Every day we are free. Yeah, that's
Every
the song.
day we are free.
Every day you're born, every day you're free. Don't forget that.
Love.
Leeliu from Singapore.